So you have decided to move to Canada and you don't know what to expect. Stick around, guys. In this video, I'll be sharing with you guys all the things that I think I would have done differently if I should have to migrate to Canada all over again. Before I get into it, guys, just a quick introduction for all the persons who are new here. If I see my face for the first time, my name is Dems and I'm a Jamaican who migrated to Canada back in 2019. I came as an international student and my wife came on a spousal open work permit, which allowed her to work for pretty much any employer here in Canada. My daughter came on a visitor's record. She was 2 years old, so she was only eligible for a visitor's visa, and then she got a visitor's record at the airport. We live in a small town called Grand Prairie, which is located in the province of Alberta. Quick background. Now, looking back, what are some of the things I would have done differently if I had to go back in time and apply all over again? This video is intended to make somebody else's journey a little bit easier than what my journey was, right? Now, you guys have known my story. For all the persons who are coming back, thank you guys for coming back to another video. And if you're new and you don't know my story, I suggest that you go and watch one of the 500 videos that I have on my channel where I share my journey, my story, and what I have been through. Now, what would I have done differently? One of the main things I would have done differently, guys, is to do a little bit more research. Now, I thought I did enough research, but when I did my research, it was more tailored around cost of living and how much funds you're gonna need for rent and stuff like that. I didn't really look on the fact that it's a different culture. It's a different way of life. So I wasn't really doing research in how to transition in terms of culturally. It was just more on expenses and perspective. So I would have paid a little bit more attention to details in terms of cultural norms, expectations, things that are accepted, things that are not accepted, just the different things that someone might find, I'd say, offensive or even abusive. Now, I had to learn through experience. I find that the way we communicate in Jamaica is very straightforward, and we don't really filter our thoughts, we don't really filter our speech. But here in Canada, you have to filter a lot. So that was something that I had to learn through experience. And I believe that if I'd done a little bit more research, I would have been more prepared for what is to come. Now, one of the things that I wish I'd done a little bit better is to understand the credit system. Now, equally, the culture is different here in terms of the way people interact with each other. Equally, the credit system is much different than it is in Jamaica. In Jamaica, you don't have a credit bureau that determines everything in your life, pretty much. In Canada, everything revolves around credit. I wish I'd paid a little bit more attention in my earlier years being here in Canada, and because of that, we had to spend a lot, some of our time trying to recover from some of the mistakes that we have made. But if it is that you are coming to Canada, I would strongly suggest that you look up what is credit and understand what credit is and how it can really impact your journey here in Canada, right? Everything in Canada revolves around credit, from your cell phone to your internet, everything, your bills, everything affects your credit. And you want to make sure that you're starting off on the best possible platform that is possible, right? Now, something that I always look back and say I wish I had done is to be more engaging in the community that I live. And being more engaging, I mean to join more groups, interact more with other cultures, right? For example, there is the Rotary Club here in Grand Prairie. There's many different other organizations, not-for-profit. Now we're getting involved in many other different not-for-profits, but I wish at that point in time we would have been a little bit more involved. Now, if we were a bit more involved at that point in time, I feel like our journey would have been a little bit easier, because sometimes it's not what you know, but it's who you know. And transitioning into a new country, networking is key. And one of the best networking opportunity is really in a not-for-profit organization, because persons who volunteer are usually of a certain stature, and persons who have a certain experience and certain affiliation. So I wish I had done that a little bit differently. Now, in terms of housing, getting an apartment here in Canada is fairly easy at that point in time. Was fairly easy at that point in time in 2019. There wasn't any credit check that is needed. There's so many things that has changed over the life of us being here in Canada. Now, what I wish I would have done differently is not to get a 2-bedroom apartment. I believe that we got a 2-bedroom apartment because at the time Nasma was staying with us and she was really helping out with Malika, that's my daughter, and it was easing some of the burden off us. However, it was costing us a lot more than we could have afforded at that point in time. Because when we came to Canada, guys, we came with limited financial resources and we had to hit the ground running immediately. And the difference between paying for a 2-bedroom apartment and a 1-bedroom apartment is a couple $100 that could have been done used to do something else. So I believe that if I could go back in time, what I would have done is to rent a 1-bedroom apartment and then we figure it out, right? Because we ended up having to figure it out anyways. So I would have rented a 1-bedroom apartment, save that cost, cut back in heat, cut back in electricity, all of those stuff, and being able to save more, and then that would probably make my student journey a lot easier than it ended up being, right? Now, this might sound as a shocker to a lot of persons who know me, who know this channel, and know what I stand for, which is I'm all about Alberta, I'm all about Grand Prairie. But one of the things that I wish I had done is to be more open-minded. Be more open-minded to know that, okay then, this is where you land, but you don't necessarily have to stay in this particular city. You're not confined to this particular city, and look for anywhere the opportunity comes. I believe that if I was more explorative in finding that perfect opportunity, we would have been able to transition probably a lot easier, a lot quicker, right? But we were conformed to the city. Even after school, we are here, we are still here, we find it difficult to move, right? And I think that is because we have already uprooted our life and moved to a city, right? And the thought of change, disturbing that peace and then transitioning again to a new city, sometimes it's difficult because you have gone through that process once, so you don't want to keep doing that. So sometimes it's a little bit of fear. But if you're just coming to Canada, what I would advise you to do is to keep an open mind, because the city that you live might not necessarily be the city that has the best opportunity for you. So be open-minded to go into another city that might give you better opportunities, ultimately give you PR quicker. We had to wait almost 4 years before we could have gotten our permanent residency. That's just because I did 2 years of school, so 2019 to 2021, 2 years. Well, we had to wait like 3.5 years there, really. Then after school, you have to work at least a year before you are eligible for provincial nomination. And then after you're eligible, you have to submit your application, which might take a couple months. So that's what we had to do. So it did take a little while. While persons in other provinces, in Saskatchewan, in the Atlantic provinces, those persons can be eligible for PR a lot quicker, because they don't have to work that 1 year after. They can work 6 months after, and then they're eligible. Now, one of the things that I wish I could go back in time and listen to more people, listen to people more. Now, sometimes when we are ambitious, sometimes when we are stubborn, sometimes when we are Jamaican, we try to do things on our own. And sometimes when we try to do things on our own, it causes us to take the longer route to get the same thing done. So I wish I listened to persons who had good advice more, and not necessarily leaning on our own wisdom, leaning on our own efforts, and sometimes that would make a big difference. So if you're coming to Canada, learn from persons who have been here before you. They have been through it. They have been through it. If you want to learn a road you have never traveled before, it's to ask somebody who have traveled that road. It's very, very simple. Very, very simple, right? And invest. Invest as soon as you can. Start saving as soon as you can. As soon as you land in Canada, it doesn't matter how small, open what is called a tax-free savings account and an RRSP account. Now, those two accounts will be so beneficial in the future. When you are settled, you have no idea. I wish I'd learned more about investing and that saving principle that Canada offers. Invest, invest, invest. Now, Canada relies heavily on interest rate, not just Canada, but the majority of the population understand interest rates and how it affects the market in terms of investment, mortgages, and a number of different factors. So the average Joe on the corner can tell you what the mortgage rate is. The average Joe can tell you what a GIC is and can tell you what mutual funds are, and a number of different terminologies that are really usually predominant for banking and financial people. I wish I had paid attention. I wish I had paid attention because it's a country where the interest rate is always changing, and when you go in can determine the amount of returns that you get. When I just came to Canada in 2019 and then COVID hit, if I'd invested in that point in time, I would have made a lot of money. So don't wait. Don't wait, guys. It can be as small as $25 a month. Now, what I suggest that you guys do is set up what is called a pre-authorized contribution. Now, pre-authorized contribution is an amount that goes to your investing account without you seeing it. Every time you get your salary, you can say, hey, $20, $25, $50, depending on the bank, of course, goes directly to that particular saving strategy without you even seeing it. And then once you start from that early stage, you realize that it accumulates, and it accumulates, right? So I'd say that I wish I had done that a little bit earlier, right? We started way later than where we actually should have started. And travel, right? Now, based on your own circumstances, you might not get the opportunity to travel because if you're saving, you're a student, you're not making much money, all of these factors. But as it is right now, we have only been to 3 provinces so far: Ontario, Alberta, and British Columbia. Right now, one of our regrets is that, we should have been to some provinces already. We should have been able to see what that province look like, what that province look like, and stuff like that. But nothing happens before its time. But I wish that we had gotten an opportunity to do that a little bit more. You understand? So those are some of the things that I think I would have done a bit differently when I just came to Canada. When I just came to Canada, I was totally oblivious as to what to expect. I was a newbie, first time leaving Jamaica, first time going on a plane. I didn't even know what I didn't even know what to expect at the airport. I didn't know what questions I was gonna ask. I didn't know how to connect on a flight. I didn't know any of that, guys. I had no experience. I came to Canada, see every car, everything looked different. Cars are driving on the right and everything different. It was a overwhelming experience for me, and a lot of what I learned right now is through experience, and we had to make a lot of mistakes. But we learned, and because of that knowledge, we are able to share it with you guys, and hopefully you guys can have, a much easier journey than we did, a much easier journey than I had, right? So definitely subscribe to this channel if it is that you're interested in migrating to Canada. If you want to learn more about my story, watch some other videos, guys. As I said, we have over 500 videos on our channel. If you don't like this video, I'm sure that there's another video that you might like, and that video might cause you to subscribe. All right, smash a like on this video if you haven't done so already. What are you waiting on? Drop a comment, let me know what aspect of migrating to Canada are you most fearful about. Let me know, and let's have a conversation in the comment section. All right, guys, thank you so much for watching this video, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace out.